I'm really curious to know what your thoughts are on this whole idea, especially yours. Okay, so I want to do a podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. I did my own, as you know, I did my own YouTube channel. It was fun. I got busy and kind of it died, but I've still like the idea of recording, sharing ideas, and ideally it would be something I would want to do with others and not just by myself. Trying to pitch this idea to you guys to see if maybe we can turn our Naperville Men's Sangha into a Hare Krishna Dads podcast. So the idea of what we're doing now is I'm trying to pitch the idea to you guys to see if it's something that you want to do. And then simultaneously we're recording it so that, maybe this could be our first episode if you guys agree. And while we're recording it, we're also kind of describing, telling the world, this is where we were, this is how we came to be, this is who we are, this is what we're doing. So, yeah. Any initial thoughts so far? It doesn't have to be a presentation. It could be
I like that.
if we decide to move forward with turning our men's sangha into a podcast. I was thinking this could be our first episode because it's kind of like an intro episode. If other people are hearing it, they can know more about us, our journey so far, the inspiration for us, our men's group forming and starting. I think it came from the dad sangha that was done in the TSI retreat back in 2024, in New Vrindavan.
Or was it? I mean, the seed was there from mantra, but I think it kind of we have been we- like there was sporadic conversations about we should do something.
Okay, so you and Kananam have been talking about this for even longer.
Yeah, and then I think we posted something in the like the kids. I think the previous edition of the not this group, maybe the previous one. Okay, this is the one. Okay, yeah. So I posted saying, yeah, like all the dads can meet once a month, like whole day. We can go for hike, like multiple variations. But I think it started off with mantra, like conversations.
Okay, so you went to
And
the
then, yeah, and then it kind of nobody responded, so it died down.
so nothing ever happened. There was
Yeah,
no events.
no,
Okay, just ideas.
yeah.
TSI happened, and then I think it was a pretty successful dad sangha led by Truly. Posed the question, all the dads shared. It seemed like everybody thought it was valuable. Like everybody, it seems like there's a consensus that this could have been longer. We could do more of this type of thing. Maybe it would be worthwhile to follow up and see if we can turn this into a thing. And then I think another catalyst was when I was over at your house and we were talking in the basement and I asked like, what was is your life perfect? And of course, nobody answers yes. So I said,
No
okay,
idea.
so then so in which ways do you think your life can be better? And then you answered saying, oh, it'd be nice if there was some kind of like men's sangha type of thing, something kind of like what we did in at TSI, but on a more regular basis, maybe more local. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. We should do it. And so I think it was just that conversation. And then I think I might have prodded you a bit. And then I'm like, dude, ask, send a check. Cause he was the one with the connections with other devotees cause if I don't know, I felt like I was a little bit of an outsider, especially back then. And like, if I pitch ideas, it's whatever. But if you pitch ideas, people might listen. So
Crowd puller.
anyway, so I think I prodded you to, I prodded you to get input from others and see if we can actually do something. And then we had our official first meet. So then I think we started a WhatsApp group. We did our official first meeting, December 18th, 2024. And then, kind of figured out what we were all trying to get out of this men's group. I think it was us three, and then Dayal, Mukunda, Kishore, yeah. So and that was a good group, and then I don't know, we all just kind of gelled. We all agreed that, yeah, it would be something worthwhile. We all agreed that it was something we should do weekly so it doesn't like fade away. And, anyway, we figured out a system that worked. And we've been,
And we also spoke about what we were not expecting this to be.
yes, and we
Like
made it
that was
very
also
clear.
clear.
Yeah. And then one of the main things that I think everyone all agreed on is that we do not want homework.
Yes.
This is not going to work if we have to go home, do homework, and
Yeah.
come and do
Yes,
something like
yes.
that. So, yeah. So, well, again, I want this recorded so that we can, if we do share it, I want other people to know kind of how this formed.
How we did.
So anyway, so I think we're all on the same page. And then, and we figured out something that worked, and it's been something that's been going on for over a year. We've been meeting pretty much every week, maybe a couple of weeks here or there that we didn't meet. And then, it seems like we all are continuing to find value with it. I continue to really look forward to our weekly sanghas, and I feel like I've gotten a lot closer with Haridhvani.
Yes,
Like I felt
definitely.
like hardly knew you
Yes,
before
yes,
this.
yes. Except for the tinkering questions that you used to ask in the Sunday feast.
Yeah, I think I asked you some philosophical question.
Yeah.
Maybe that connected us a little bit, but
Yes.
nothing like
Yes,
what's turned
yes.
out to
Yeah.
be from this men
Yes,
sangha.
yes.
And same thing with Surya. I mean, Surya, I
Yeah.
knew a little bit better, but I feel like even now I've gotten to know him a lot better through this men
Even Dayal
sangha.
Mukunda, I knew him from like 2016.
Mm,
Even though he was part of the Sangha for only like not the entire time, but got to know him close and
yeah. Yeah. So like you that and with Kishore,
yeah.
I knew nothing about him practically. Yeah. So anyway, I did know Dayal Mukunda, and I knew them for a while. But so, okay. So again, we're all finding value on it. And then I think another tool that we've kind of developed that's really helped our men sangha along was this discussion backlog. We all kind of brainstormed ideas. We came up with like 80 plus topics. We
Ever growing.
and it's growing. And we actually went through each topic and ranked like to what degree of interest we have in that topic. And then we tallied up all the points from all the people, and we sorted based on most interest to less interest. And we've been kind of going down that list. So we've got lots of content and topics and ideas to discuss, and oftentimes we just spontaneously discuss on whatever's on our mind. And so it's like we always have something to talk about, and I feel like we've come up with a structure that can continue to go on and continue to provide value for all of us. So, and then we also have an active WhatsApp group. I think we all share stuff, mostly me, I feel, but whatever. We have good exchanges there. And then the result is, as we just discussed, stronger bonds. And I think we created a rare and unique space in the Hare Krishna community.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this type of thing exists anywhere else, but I think it's valuable, and maybe it's worth sharing. Okay, so even if we don't do anything beyond what we're already doing, I think we're all happy with what it is. So, and I'm fine with that. But I have this itch that I feel like we could do more. I feel like we can even get even more value out of our men's sangha by turning our men's sangha into a podcast. So we're doing it now. We still got to work out some technology bugs and whatnot, but I feel like we can just record our meetings, both video and audio. I don't know have you guys ever seen the All In podcast or heard of it?
No.
Okay, well, it's these like 4 billionaires, Silicon Valley types. One of them's in the Trump administration now. He's like the AI. Well, David Sachs, David Friedberg, Chamath Palihapitiya, and Jason Calacanis. Well, probably not. I mean, Yammer. Do you know Yammer from on Microsoft? So
Yeah.
the founder of Yammer, David Sachs, he's on the podcast, and he's now currently in the Trump administration as an advisor to Trump on AI and crypto.
Yammer is like the enterprise version of social media where people can
Yeah, nobody uses
talk.
it anymore, but it
Yeah.
was a thing for some time.
I mean, companies do
They
still
still use it.
use, and not as much as social media, obvious, but anything that's needs to be social post and anything goes into Yammer.
Yeah. Anyway, but now they're all like VCs, investors, political pundits. So they do like a weekly episode. They're friends. They get together, they play poker, they chat, and they're like, "Oh, we should record this. I think other people would find value in this." And then they set up something like what I'm wanting us to do is a weekly podcast They invite guests. They do special episodes, and they're all busy. So this is like a side thing that they do, and they just get together, record, share, call it a day, and move on with their lives. So I was thinking we could do something similar, but instead of you know, on a huge scale like these guys, we just do it on a more local scale with the idea that we're all Hare Krishna dads, and we can talk about family, faith, life, that kind of thing. So that kind of goes into the rationale behind the name. Again, the name is up for grabs. We don't have to use Hare Krishna Dads podcast, but I was trying to think of like, okay, well, what if we were to create a podcast? What kind
Who
of
are we?
who are we? What unites us? And I was thinking, there's two things. We all have some fair amount of experience in the Hare Krishna world, and we are all dads. So put those two together, Hare Krishna Dads podcast. It seems like it's pretty. The name was just given to us. But if you guys have other ideas on names, we can obviously change it. But there's no objections. I think that's a good one. And then we're not like officially representing any Hare Krishna view or anything. We just have experience in the Hare Krishna world. This is like the background. This is how we can navigate discussions and the lens through which we can see issues. Um, so so that's the name. And then, okay, so now this gets to your point. So I put a key rule here, privacy first. So if anyone, like, I don't want this podcast to ruin, like, one of the things that made our men's sangha so valuable is that we can come and share private things or more sensitive things that we don't want the whole world to hear, that we want to just stay in the world. So, or stay in the room. So I want to maintain that. And at the same time, I also want to be able to share the parts of our discussions that are not sensitive, that would be valuable for others to hear. So I want to make it a rule that anybody at any time for any reason can, if they want to talk about something sensitive, and we all want to, then we just stop the recording, we talk about it, and there's no recording. Or if someone says something after the fact that has been recorded, anybody has the ability to go in, edit, remove certain things, or ask that certain parts of a recording not be published or deleted or whatever, and we'll all honor that. So trying to balance best of both worlds here. I don't know if that's satisfactory of enough of a answer to your concern, or if you want to put in additional.
So one more, maybe I'm trying to read your mind, which is also there, is if we know that this is going to wider people, there is a potential of not being honest with what I'm saying. I might be saying what I think is socially acceptable. Like
And then we can call each other out on it.
yeah.
If I feel like you're putting on a show, you're being performative, I'll call you out on it. I'll be like, is that how you really feel about this issue, or what? Because we can stop the
So
recording now and tell me how you really
that's one
feel.
of my because that's one of my worries.
Yeah, I think there's a balance. I'm wondering if we can strike a balance where if it's too juicy, too sensitive, too whatever, we decide as a group, like, okay, this part of the discussion, let's cut heavily.
So
Edit.
what we could do is a middle ground for both is make it as Instagram Reels. We record and then we decide, okay, this part, yeah. And then yeah, because one of our aim is also to inspire more men's sanghas across the world. That's like we have like it like the whole point of preaching. I'm receiving so much from here, so I want to share.
What's nice about Riverside, which maybe we'll get to later, is that it kind of does all this for you. It actually uses AI to identify like viral clips, and it puts it in like short video format, so we can just and it has like upload features too. So like upload to YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, whatever, and just click a button, and then boom, it's out there. So it does all the work for you, which back when.
And then also the easier way to become viral is through short reels rather than the
Right.
whole 1 hour podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer long
Yeah,
form
I do.
podcasts. So
But I
the
kind
thing is, we
of
could easily do both with Riverside. We could like, so I'm thinking like for men's sanghas where it's more or less benign, we're not talking about anything super sensitive or whatever. We just post the whole thing. But then
yeah,
if we're more sensitive topics, we do just short
yes,
form video.
yes.
and then we could do both because this app is pretty good. You know, it's AI and
But
podcast tools
if you're
now.
actually discussing something like last week, we will stop the recording. Because even by mistake, we don't want it to get out.
I like that suggestion of, hey, let's try it for a couple weeks. Let's see. Um, you know, we don't have to post everything right away. We don't have to post anything. Let's just see what it's like to record, and then we can, you know, the AI tools can pretty much, you know, let's see what it spits out, and then everybody, right? Everybody has veto power. So like, if one person is not
Yes.
comfortable with posting something, it doesn't get posted.
Like the good thing about the men sangha group is we have men who are not active part of the group but are still in the group. So if you are comfortable showing it to them, not on the group, but when we meet one on one, like this is a snippet. What is your feedback? Then we could also take that if you want. Like let's say we three liked it, but we want to see get an outsider insider perspective, then show it to them on one of our phones, and then see how they like it, and then post it.
Anybody can go. Like, I set up this Riverside account. So this Riverside app, everything's up in the cloud. So I could share the login information with everybody,
Yeah,
and then everybody can go in and see what it spits out, what the content is, and only when everybody's okay with it, will we actually post anything. But it gives opportunity, yeah, to share the content. It's there, it's something we can use in the future if we need to. So is that, well, maybe I can finish the presentation, then we can kind of come back to the, are we going to do this or not? Okay, so why do this? I mean, we already talked about a lot of these things. So like, I think we've had a lot of awesome discussions, and I think that if we can record them, you know, a lot of times we have awesome discussions, and then we all have the experience, and then over time we forget and it just kind of disappears. But if they're recorded, it's something we can look back to. We can build legacy. Even the little podcasts or the YouTube videos that I did back in the day, 5 years ago, like, I look back at some of those now and I'm like, man, I've changed already so much in just 5 years. And like, it's crazy how I had some of those opinions back in the day. And so I'm thinking, like, you know, it's something we can look back to. Maybe we can show our kids. Maybe it's something that our kids would be interested in. Like, oh, I wonder what my dad was like when, you know, when I was little, or whatever. Community impact, you know, we're finding value of it with it. Maybe larger community could find value with it. We can get feedback from them, think of things that we haven't thought about. We can up our game, have better conversations, because I think if we know that other people might be hearing it, we might be more inclined to like want to produce better, like have better conversations. Um, Strengthen bonds. I think it's because it's something that we're doing. This is like a group project that we're all doing it together. I think we can, um, you know, I really like Acharya Nisha's views on how to make friends. You know, he's like, his understanding of making friends is just like, well, you kind of just do service together, and you naturally just become friends. And like, there's nothing beyond, like, that's the best way to make friends, is like, okay, now we're doing something together, can strengthen our bonds. So then you asked about the mindset shift. So, you know, the other day I asked, hey, Kandanam, how's it going at the temple? Prasadam, yes, the other on Sunday. And then his answer was, work, 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 work. And I was like, oh man, what a mindset to be in. You know, just this constant like absorption with work, and like, so this worker bee mentality. And so many of us, especially working professionals, we are just constantly in this working mindset. But this project podcast can help us shift out of that working mindset into something creative, something that we can create together, and it's energizing as opposed to like draining. Okay, so, and then why do this? It's a low commitment. It's something we're already doing. We don't have to spend any time outside of this meeting. You all don't. I'm willing to take on the burden of just, you know, I can edit and do whatever, because with these tools, it's so easy. And I think people might be inclined to want to go in and edit too. So you'll have the ability to, but you don't have to. So all you really have to do is just show up with, you know, laptop, mic, hit record, and then that's it. That's all the only thing extra you have to
show up
do.
with your personal laptops.
Personal laptops, yes. Well, or get an iPad or something.
You have an
You
iPad?
can even use your phone. And then this tool Riverside, there is a monthly cost for it. So I was going to pitch that if we can all pitch in for that, so it feels like we're all owning this thing. So it's depending on how many people are going to do it. If it's just us three, it'll be $8 a month. If it's more, it'll be less, but minimal. I'm in a 14-day free trial right now. So
1 day free trial.
14-day. So that's what we're using now. So that's it. And then how we'll do it, yeah, using Riverside. We already talked about this, and we more or less kind of continue to do what we have been doing. Like, we can create a docket. I mean, we already have our discussion backlog, which is kind of like a docket, but we can also create a more special, a different Google Doc or some docket that says, if someone's thinking about something during the week, we can post it there and like, okay, here are the 2 or 3 topics that's on my mind that we can talk about for this week, or we can figure out those details later. I already created a Hare Krishna Dads podcast Gmail.
Wow.
Yep, and I signed up for Riverside. Yeah, so we got our email. So we can use this to set up our YouTube, Spotify X account. We can create all the social media accounts with this. Everyone can have access to it, and that's more or less it. Ownership. It's just joint ownership. Maybe we could use Grok or AI to help come up with some simple co-host document for consent and decisions. Maybe we need to do some kind of an email waiver for voice likeness, like views are our own, disclaimer. These are all best practices that Grok spit out, so we can take them, see if there's anything in writing we want to do. I think we could all do this later as well, but I think it might be helpful to go through some formal exercise, because now we are producing content. Who owns it? If there's issues let's say it blows up in the future, and I don't know, somehow money comes in somehow, which I don't expect. What are we going to do? How are we going to split the money? How's that going to work? So I think if we can think about some of these thorny issues now, early on, prevent issues in the future. And then no entity. Initially, I was thinking we can create an LLC for this, but I think that's overkill for what we're doing. I don't think there's a need to do that.
Yeah.
If in the future it grows and there's a need for that, we can deal with that in the future. So future ideas, even if we just do this, just record our weekly meetings, happy, that's good. But if we want to, if we get inspired and we want this to grow, I was thinking we could do solo episodes. A dad can, like, if there's a topic that you're certainly excited about that you want to just post on the Hare Krishna Dads podcast, you can just spin up a recording. Or if you want to do interviews with someone else and post it on our channel, or if we have special guests come every now and then, we can do those kind of events. Or we can, if we do family events that we want to record, which may be a little more sensitive, we may not want to do, but if we did want to, expand to see what Hare Krishna Dad life is like, if we do like a human chess tournament or a game decathlon or play Krishna Land or whatever, maybe that could be some kind of like interesting content to share. And another thing we could do is make a website. We can post our topics. We can make a website and make like a men's sangha resource site where we can just go throw in all of our ideas for men's sanghas. If other men's sanghas wanted to spin up elsewhere, we can have like resources for them to go take advantage of. We can post all of our episodes there, whatever. And then again, future opportunities, LLC, if we want to go that route. And then if we get really inspired and we want to start a company, we can pitch in for a computer AI agent to do our bidding, whatever. That's it. It's the idea. Okay. So, Haridhvani, I want to know what your feelings are. What were your feelings coming into this? Just generally hearing the idea of a podcast, like, did it excite you? Was you thinking like, this is something I want to do, or were you like kind of neutral about it?
I was neutral.
And then what are your feelings now?
I was neutral, but I'm excited.
You're excited now. Okay, you came in neutral. Now you're excited. Okay, awesome.